everyone, it's Ezra May. Welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to talk all about the 91st Academy Awards. It was a very controversial year for the Oscars in the lead up. Since November they've been trying to implement so many changes. So firstly we had the whole host debacle that there was going to be no host, and then we had the popular film category that was sort of planned and then scrapped, and then we had the controversial song performances. We were only going to get 2, but then all 5 of them were asked to perform. However, they all had to shorten their songs to 90 seconds. That's probably the part that really upset me the most. No one film really swept the awards, and I think that's just very symbolic of the year we had, because we got one film receiving so much critical praise and then another one did, and you kind of just didn't know who was going to end up on top. I did my best to try and watch all of them. I thought we had a great selection of films. It was very diverse, the stories were amazing, and the people involved were great. I think that's my favorite part about award season, that celebrities really get to meet each other. They have luncheons and galas and small events where they just get to know each other and they form these friendships, and you hope that they work together in the future. We had my favorite queens of comedy, Maya Rudolph, Tina Fey and Amy Poehler, come out to do a presentation. They should have just hosted, to be honest, but they did a great opening monologue. My favorite part was obviously when they started singing Shallow. Got a reaction from my favorite people in the audience. The first winner of the night was Regina King for If Beale Street Could Talk. I have yet to see that film, but she had such a beautiful speech. People were moved to tears. She looked gorgeous in her dress, and I already knew it was going to be a good night because it just started off with the right energy. Everyone was really happy, and best makeup went to Vice, which is awesome because yes, you can't really tell that it's Sam Rockwell and Christian Bale, but I was wondering why there were only 3 nominees in this category, because I think a lot of the films had great makeup and hairstyling and yet didn't even get a nomination. Costume design and production design went to Black Panther, which was a very pleasant surprise. 2 Oscars off the bat. I mean, that's a pretty great achievement for them, especially when they were getting so much heat. Superhero movies don't get enough love at the Oscars, so I'm glad that they really swept up the first 20 minutes of the show. We were like, whoa, that is awesome. Wakanda forever. Then Roma picked up the Oscar for Best Cinematography. I was kind of mixed on this because obviously I think the cinematography in A Star Is Born is amazing. Matthew Libatique, I've talked about him before. He did such an incredible job, and I watched Roma. Now, it is a good film. I just did not think that it was epic. I personally am not sure that it deserves cinematography. There are a lot of good shots in there, but I feel like it was very obvious that things were framed and storyboarded. But you know, I mean, yeah. Sound mixing and sound editing. Okay, first of all, I think A Star Is Born was snubbed for sound editing for sure, because that sequence when they're going to the gig was like #1 for me. Bohemian Rhapsody got awards for both. Now, yes, there is great sound mixing in that film. I did enjoy it. I love the music, but sound mixing and sound editing, like, we had A Quiet Place in there, you know? We had First Man, we had Black Panther. There were so many great films. I just can't believe that Bohemian Rhapsody took both of those. Film editing went to Bohemian Rhapsody. If you didn't know, there is a viral tweet going around about a certain scene where the Queen are talking to these producers. There's a cut every 3 seconds between people who aren't even talking, and I am just very interested in how the voters went with this. Was it a case of good editing because they could see the edit? Because there was a lot of editing. They should have won most editing. Actor in a supporting role was given to Mahershala Ali. This was not a surprise. He's been winning them at the other award shows. It was a tough category. I knew Sam Elliott got a nod, which was the best in his, you know, very long career, one of his first Oscar nominations, which is unbelievable. But I did feel personally, as a fan of A Star Is Born, that he didn't have enough scenes to get the win. If he had maybe like 2 or 3 more scenes, he would have had a bigger chance, but I'm so glad that he was acknowledged because he totally breaks my heart in this film. Green Book picked up the Oscar for Best Original Screenplay. It was very interesting because I thought The Favourite had that in the bag. I saw that film, the dialogue was so quick, so witty, really dark black comedy, but it just lost out on this award, and The Favourite was getting paid dust up until this point. Then we had Adapted Screenplay. I knew A Star Is Born didn't really have a chance. Of course I wanted us to win, but Black Klansman got it. Samuel L. Jackson presented the award to Spike Lee, and Spike Lee had given Samuel his first role, so it was kind of a sweet moment. He jumped up on him, gave him a massive hug. It was his first Oscar win as well, so that was great. Then we had Best Original Song. I'll get to the performances in a bit, but I knew we had it on lock. As soon as they read out Lady Gaga's name, I was beside myself. I was screaming, and she brought her sister to the Oscars. If you didn't know, that's Natalie, Lady Gaga's sister, and they were so beautiful. I'm so glad that they were able to share that moment. Her whole family was there. Mark Ronson, Anthony Rossomando, and Andrew Wyatt took the stage, and I was so elated, and I'm so glad that we won that because I don't think anyone deserved that award more. Obviously my favorite Oscar of the night, and coincidentally the only Oscar that A Star Is Born picked up out of our 8 nominations. We definitely deserved a lot more, but considering the low budget and the sort of ineffective marketing campaign, we did pretty well, so I am beyond happy about that. Now to the 3 main awards of the ceremony. We were surprised and yet not surprised. Best Actor went to Rami Malek, and he's been winning the SAG Awards, the Globe, everything. So it really wasn't a shock, but there were so many great contenders in that, you know, I did have a little bit of hope that maybe Bradley Cooper could swing it because he didn't get a director's nomination, but I guess I was fantasizing a little too hard. Rami had a great speech though. It was so cute to see his mum and his brother, his twin brother, in the audience. Really good speech. And I can't deal with the fact that he fell off stage at one point and had to get paramedics called in. I mean, that's just how clumsy and silly and wonderful he is. But there we have it. He had a great night. First nomination, first win. How can you top that? Best Actress. Everybody thought it was going to go to Glenn Close. I had a little bit of hope for Lady Gaga. I kept watching the time that Cher got her Oscar because Glenn Close was nominated as well, and everyone was so surprised. And then I was also watching the Oscars when Barbra Streisand and Katharine Hepburn actually tied, and I really thought Glenn and Lady Gaga could tie because it wasn't impossible. We got a tie at the Critics' Choice Awards. And for some reason or other, Glenn did not win. It went to Olivia Colman, which was a huge shock. If you look at their faces when she won, they were all kind of like, oh, okay. Like they thought Glenn had it in the bag. Glenn was super gracious in her reaction, but Olivia did give a good performance, and it's just interesting. I did not think she would get it for a number of reasons, because she'd already got the BAFTA for it, which is basically the British Academy Awards, and therefore being a Brit, she probably wouldn't get this award when Glenn Close is so overdue for her Oscar. But I guess The Wife just came out a little too early. It did come out in 2017. The film was not given much attention. It was just her performance. Kind of an upset, but yeah, Olivia Colman won, and the best part is she had the best speech. She looked genuinely surprised, and she just had the most unplanned speech ever, and it's kind of the best one because you could tell it's genuine. She thanked her kids, and she thanked Lady Gaga at the end, which just made up for everything. Best Director. I was not hyped about this category because Bradley Cooper was so snubbed. I feel so bad to this moment that he didn't win anything for his directorial work, or just, you know, in general. I feel like he deserved a lot more than he got. Anyway, it went to Alfonso Cuarón, which I'm not surprised. He has been winning them. I just really didn't think that Roma was the best directed film. That's probably not. I would have given it cinematography, but not really directing. I know I'm sounding a little bit negative about this film, but let's just say that it's not something I would watch again. Let's just say that. Best Picture. Wow. Probably the biggest upset of the night, and it's hilarious because I didn't even watch that one, but I had already cancelled it from my predictions. I really thought it was gonna go to The Favourite. I thought maybe Black Panther could get it, like it could be like a huge thing, or A Star Is Born in a strange turn of events. It actually happened to Ben Affleck a couple of years ago. He was nominated for Best Picture for Argo, but he was snubbed for a director's nom. So I thought maybe Bradley didn't get a nom because he's gonna get Best Picture, and I really wish that that had happened, especially knowing that Green Book is now the Best Picture Oscar winner for 2019. It just doesn't really make sense to me. The crowd was visibly shocked and like kind of confused, and it was just overall a weird end to the evening, but at least Julia Roberts thanked Bradley Cooper's mom.
All the nominees, and good night to Bradley Cooper's mother.
The show was great. It started off with a performance from Queen featuring Adam Lambert, who he's been on tour with them. We have Brian May and Roger Taylor, the original members of Queen. They really opened the show with a bang. It was so epic. I loved seeing everyone dancing. So it was a great opening. We had Jennifer Hudson performing I'll Fight from the Ruth Bader Ginsburg documentary. I heard the song a little bit before, but seeing the full thing, it's not really a great song. Definitely not one of Diane Warren's best. And I felt bad because Jay had definitely looked disappointed with herself. The sound mix was so off. I knew something was wrong already because she rarely under-delivers, but the connection between the mic and the music was not vibing well, and you could hear it. The mix was so wrong. She couldn't hear herself probably. Then we had Bette Midler performing the Mary Poppins song, The Place Where Lost Things Go, accompanied by Mark Shaman on the piano. I love him. He's a great composer. This song, it's okay. I actually haven't seen Mary Poppins yet, but it wasn't the best, and I wonder why Emily Blunt didn't just do it. I'm sure she would have pulled through. She's got a lovely voice. And yeah, Bette Midler kind of just sang, and it felt like 5 minutes. It just felt like too long. Then we got that random song, When a Cowboy Trades His Spurs for Wings, from The Ballad of Buster Scruggs, which is on Netflix, and apparently it's really good, so I will check it out. I thought that was a cute song. It did sound pretty nice considering the sound mix I thought was off the entire night. And then the best thing ever happened. First Man won for best visual effects. The speech happened, it finished, and then all of a sudden the camera cut to the stage, to a view from the stage. We saw these men wheeling out a piano, we saw someone playing a guitar, and all of a sudden the first few notes of Shallow were playing, and I was like, oh, it's happening, it's happening. I was not ready. I was like, oh my gosh, it's happening. There was no introduction because no introduction was needed. People were basically waiting the whole night for this. And then Bradley Cooper, in the tiny little corner of the screen, held out his hand. Lady Gaga took his hand. They started walking up to the stage. People were applauding. I was like, oh, I'm not ready for this. And again, so the camera was on stage filming them from that perspective, and immediately I was like, it's like the film. The camera's gonna stay on stage for the entire performance, just like the film. He was on a stool and Lady Gaga was staring at him, and it just began. I cannot believe that they did this. The moment Bradley Cooper started singing, I was like, this is a magical dream come true. He hit the first note perfectly, and they were just staring at each other the whole performance. When he finished his verse, she had to sit down. She was like so overcome. Everybody just stopped. Like the whole world was silent in that moment. Do you know what I'm saying? She started playing, and for the first time ever, she looked nervous, which, I mean, she's Lady Gaga, but I think that they just really had this rush of adrenaline, the both of them, and they really shared the nerves, and it was so beautiful. It was so intimate, and I was kind of like, I want to see it from the other side, but then I'm like, no, this was intentional, this filming. If I was that cameraman, I would have dropped that camera. He was so great, just sort of filming what was important, filming their faces, their emotion. And then again, we were still surprised because I thought he was going to stay on that stool for the whole time. And then mid-bridge, he took the mic off, put it away, and I'm like, shut up. He is not going to share the mic like he did in Vegas. Like, this is not happening right now. He goes over, sits next to Lady Gaga, and the cameraman basically gives me life. He zooms in on their faces, their foreheads touch, they are singing. And how did the whole world just not fall in love with him right there and then? It was the #1 trending thing on Twitter. They sounded so beautiful, and what I loved was that the arrangement was changed. It didn't like rock really hard until the end. It basically, the instruments dropped out, and it was just their voices and the piano for that last chorus, and it was simply stunning.
In the shallow, we're far from the shallow now.
I died 1,000 times and my heart grew 5,000 sizes. I cannot believe that this was sort of the end of an era, but it was such a beautiful way to close off the Star is Born tour, and I never want this to end. Like, Shallow is definitely one of those life-changing songs. The lyrics, everything about it is just so meaningful, and you could feel it in the room. I don't know what it would have been like to be in that theater, but you could feel it through the TV screen. Of course, there was all the speculation that happened after, but they really had this undeniable chemistry and a bond that cannot be explained. Whether it's a romantic relationship or a friendship, it doesn't matter. I really feel like they're soulmates. Their voices together and the way they look at each other, that is the kind of love that we all want in our lives. I can't get enough of this performance. I really can't. It was just one of the most beautiful moments in Oscars history, and it's all I've wanted. I can't believe we got it, and I'm so happy and I feel so blessed. Oh my gosh, is this my acceptance speech? It was truly breathtaking and magical and marvelous and magnificent and indescribable and incomparable. Oh my gosh, they make me think of adjectives. I thought it was a great show. I've watched a lot of award shows in my lifetime, but it was really good. It was really succinct without a host. It didn't actually run over time. The bits were funny. I'm glad all the categories got in at the end, because that was another thing. They were going to cut off cinematography and editing, which was completely unfair. And I hope that now they can keep that format. And I read that the ratings went up 14% this year. That's pretty good. That's my Oscars recap and review. I hope you enjoyed it. If it sounded biased, it was supposed to be. It was just a magical evening. I'll never get over it. Just all the love in the room. I love the celebrities applauding for each other and really just being together. I think that's something that we need to do. We need to show more kindness, you know what I'm saying? So that's what I try to do with my channel. I try to always be positive, and I try to just share art in the way that it has to be shared in order for us to get through our pain and through our suffering. That's truly what life is about, you know. It's about love. It's about loving fearlessly and showing people love every single day, every single minute. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. I'll see you in my next video. Bye.